Hello, stream.
Hi, Twitch chat. Cool. Well, hi everyone. Thank you so much for making the time to chat with us today. We are very excited to have you all here. So for everyone in the Twitch chat, I know you can see their names, but gonna say it anyway. So we have AJ from Supersonic X. Thanks for joining us from Puerto Rico. We have Singularity FPV from Raiden Racing. Thank you for joining us
Hello.
from Barcelona. And we have Thunder FPV from Raiden Racing as well. Thank you for joining us from. You told me the name of the island, and I forgot what it's called. What's the name of the island?
Formentera.
Formentera.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate all of you being here today to chat about drones and stuff. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
So just to get started, I think this is one of the more common questions that you get, but will get us started is how did you first get into drone racing? What was kind of the moment for you that you were like, okay, yeah, this is definitely something I want to do. So kind of just in order, maybe we can start with AJ, then Thunder, then Singularity. If that's cool for you.
Cool. I'll start. My case, for drone racing and drones in general, I used to fly big RC airplanes and helicopters. And I always had that hobby influence, RC influence, and then drones came in the industry and I got curious and then I started practicing that.
Cool. How about you, Thunder?
I started around 2016. I started filming big drones, heavy quads, cinematic. But I heard about drone racing with a YouTube video of a French pilot into the woods, and I decided I want to do that. The feeling of that video, the adrenaline, everything, wanted something I wanted to experience.
And how, like, what kind of racing drone did you start with? Was it like a big one or a small one, or?
I started with big one.
Okay.
At the start, they fly really bad, but today's everything has changed.
Cool. And Singu?
I actually started with like photography drones. Just I didn't even know that the drone racing existed. So I was flying those drones that have GoPros, and then I wanted to get like a UAV certificate for piloting drones.
Okay.
And there was a monitor that showed me the drone racing. He was a drone racing pilot, and he showed me the racing drones. And then after that course, I simply sell my photography quads, and I built a drone racing quad, and then I started.
Do you still do a bit of photography every now and then, or do you, like, it's just purely racing now?
I want to put a GoPro in a drone racing quad, but I still need to do it. So
Okay.
a future project I want to do, yeah.
And how did you get your FPV name?
I simply came up with it like I did just maybe during 3 or 4 days. I spent like thinking about names, and I simply came up with that name. I don't know, I like a lot like artificial intelligence and all of this.
Okay.
And there is like a reference that the singularity is when the artificial intelligence will be more intelligent than a human, and that's called the singularity. So I don't know.
Okay.
I stick with that. You know?
Cool. That's a really interesting way of looking at it, actually.
Yeah. It's people think it's like the singularity of a black hole, but no. It was not for that.
I just thought singularity, like, as in unique, but fair enough.
Yeah, no.
I didn't think that far.
No.
Nate is asking, should we be worried?
No.
Should we be worried that
Well-
AI is going to take over and we're all going to die?
Maybe. But
There was this
Still long for
story
time for that.
that there were two, I think it was Google, who created two bots to talk to each other. And the bots, it ended up like they created their own language in the end.
yeah,
And
it
so
was
they-
Facebook.
Oh yeah, Facebook then. One of the big.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think they pulled the cord on the project. Maybe they were scared or something, but
Yeah.
interesting future. AJ, I'm guessing yours is relatively straightforward.
Yeah, mine doesn't really have a big. I did not have a big creative mind by that time. I saw Johnny FPV and everybody that had FPV and they're like after their names. I'm like, okay, I'll just put my initials there, throw them in there, and put FPV in there. Let's go. Showtime.
Fair enough. Keep it simple. I got that.
Yeah.
Thunder.
It's funny. My name was longer than now. It wasn't Thunder. It was Thunder Flash. Some people know it at the start because video game. I don't know. It felt personal. It was funny in race and an important race. The song Thunder by Imagine Dragons. The organizer put the song, and I queued on focus, and I crashed in semifinals. Something, it happens.
So when you hear Thunder, do you then think Imagine Dragons? Or this is a question for all of you. Would you think, like, if you hear Thunder in a song, what song would that make you think of?
Maybe the Thunder
AC/DC.
Strike. Yeah, the AC/DC one. It's really nice.
Yeah, I feel.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of Imagine Dragons at all, but it is actually a famous song as well. We're all old souls here, even though we're supposed to be young.
Comment in the chat. What song? AC/DC or Imagine Dragons?
That's a very good question. Twitch chat, go wild. Cool. I feel like you should change. I don't know. Like I know Thunder is like your FPV name, and you should keep it and all. But like I feel like Lightning might be a bit more accurate these days, considering how many track records you hold. Like I think people really underestimate. I mean, Minchen does end up, and Minjay in Reutte. So we follow all of the lap times and keep updated with who gets the fastest lap on which track every time that changes. And until I think like the second to last lap on Slingshot, you had the fastest time, and then Minjay beat it like at the very end, even though
Yeah.
you'd clocked it like towards the beginning.
Ninja
which-
is just cracked.
Yeah, I mean Minjay is Minjay, but the Minchan has most records. You know, we're not that surprised, but quite often it will be between you, Minchan, and Minjay, like the top fastest pilots. Every time, yeah, no, sometimes Kilian Rousseau is up there too. But yeah, it's always interesting for, I don't know, I'm like one of those geeks for numbers and stats. And so I always try follow like, okay, who's got which the fastest lap and where are the points at and whatever. Do they actually tell you how many points you're on? Like, do your team owners or someone tell you, okay, this is where you're currently at in points and how much you need to score to be able to make it to the next thing and
Yeah,
everything?
we have a ton of workers in the team. Someone who is making our practice better, someone who is the stats, someone who is spotting us, a really strong team.
Okay.
And I don't know, who is first right now at heat points?
And will
Would
that be
be
like while
really
you're
good.
flying or kind of at the end of the
At the end,
the
at the end.
heat?
I can't think too much while flying. Just send it and try to focus. I also have around 800 hours on the game. If I won't be fast, I will just kick myself.
That's a legitimate way of thinking about it. AJ, in Supersonic X, do you guys have kind of like in the background, you know, that there's HJ or one
Yeah.
of your team members saying something?
Yeah, same deal. We try to have strategies at the moment. Like depends on how many points we're losing and what we need to do on that heat and stuff like that.
Okay.
a good example is when we were versing Raiden, that we got bumped down to third and fourth on that heat, that we needed to get like not third and fourth, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, you guys all, I mean, for those who didn't watch the GP for Reutte in the last one, it was the two teams of Supersonic X and Raiden ended up tying in number of heat points after the round robin. So it was 138 each, I believe. But
Right.
with X-Blades first and Quad Force 1 fourth. And because the two of you were tied, we then go look at practice time. So who has the fastest practice times from the day before when you guys practiced? And that was Raiden by, wasn't even like that big of a gap, but yeah, unfortunately the gap was there. And then what
For my
happened, I
understanding,
guess.
during the practice, I thought it was just practice and I did not have to put a best time. I was just trying to focus on lines, and then like, oh, that counted. Okay, good to know for next time.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is the practice times, it's not like last year, the practice times were actually qualifiers. So the practice times that you'd lock in, qualifying times, were what decided which teams were going to go up against which team, because it was a instant knockout format. But this year, because of the round robin, everyone races everyone. So the practice times really are about practice. They're only used in the very, very rare case that we have to have a tiebreaker, which we really did not think was going to happen.
Well,
we really did not see that coming. So, yeah.
I think we're breaking the odds.
I mean, you two are both absolutely brilliant teams, so it does obviously make sense that you guys ended up tying, and it's unfortunate that you couldn't both be in the final, but I guess someone has to win. And it's just a question for you about then. So you subsequently went into the small final against Quad Force 1, where you'd still finished technically tied for second, so you were still kind of the favorites going in and had accumulated the most heat points and stuff, had obviously performed better than Quad Force 1. What do you think then happened? Were you guys just like really tired at the end of the day, or?
I think we might have lost our focus after we were all really kind of disappointed we didn't make the big final, and maybe that kind of like got into our heads. And then when it came to racing Quad Force 1, many of us were like, we really don't want to race anymore. We're kind of pissed. We're kind of mad. But I think that's what happened when we crumbled.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because, like I said, Minjay had locked in the best time with on that track as well, I think. So yeah, I was sorry to see that because I know that you guys tried really hard the whole day, and it's always, we don't take sides at DCL, but we obviously enjoy good flying and quality talent, which we have a lot of, and so it's always like, I wouldn't say disappointed, but we're kind of sad for you guys that you spent the day like doing some really, really good work, and that it ended like that was unfortunate. But the good news is there's a next time, so you guys can catch that up and make it up next time.
Yeah, we're definitely practicing harder, and it's gonna be different next races.
So when you say practice harder, is it just putting in more hours, or is the strategic outlook of how you're practicing different?
It's a little bit of both. We are planning on practicing together, and there's occasions where we practice together, but at the same time, we individually put more hours in. And I think hours, at least like personally, is what I'm missing, because I think I have 260, 270 compared to 500, 600, 1,000 hours. I think, I'm a little bit behind. So I think I got to put more hours in so I can feel in better shape personally.
Sometimes we all practice together. It's not just Raiden practice or Supersonic practice. There's multiplayer in the game, and we all train together. It's really funny.
Yeah. Do you feel like, is there actual kind of rivalry between the teams, or is it just like, okay, we're racing against each other, but actually we're friends, and this is not like we're racing faster because we want to win, but at the end of the day we're friends.
I think we're friends sometimes, but we are not friends every time. I received a video with someone deleting DCL after the final. I won't say the name, but damn.
Well, at the end of the day, you won, so the two of you were the actual little winning pilots of Reutte. So I would really like to know what was going through your mind in that big heat, because the board just kept moving like that. Did you guys have any idea where you were in the leader board, and if you actually had managed to pull it off of the winning?
Yeah, well, actually, myself, I could only see Minchan and Thunder. I couldn't only see them, and I saw that I was not too far away, so I simply just tried to push, but not too much, because it's 4 laps and it's not that easy to not crash when you're pushing on 4 laps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know that there was Ashton and others right on next to me. I mean, I did suppose that, but I didn't see it. But actually, I think that Thunder didn't even see anything. He didn't know anything until he entered the crash gate.
Exactly. That always happened to me. For example, with Ninja, in every race, I think I'm first. I hit the finish gate and then I'm second. And I was hoping the finals not to be like this. I push a little bit more on the third and fourth lap, just hoping not to be for hundreds of seconds. And I don't know, magic happens.
I mean, I wouldn't call it magic. The two of you are ridiculously talented pilots. I think that's more what it is. But it was really a really good final. Like I said, we don't take sides at DCL. We're in it for good racing, and wow, what a final that lived up to every expectation we had, because we were all hoping that we'd have at some point a big heat that decides kind of the final, and so we got that, and it was like a 2,000th of a second decided the winning.
It actually, yeah, 2,000 of a second, yeah, because actually for me and Ashton, I beat him by 2 milliseconds. If he was in front, even though Vicent won, if I have gotten fourth, they would have won. And Ashton was 3 milliseconds behind me. So yeah.
Actually, they wouldn't have won, because it would have been it would have been you guys had 7 points, they had 7 points,
yeah.
And then
true.
it would have gone, or something like that, and it would have gone to another big heat. So that's what happens if there's still a tie in the finals after. And this is for the small finals as well. If after the 2 small heats and big heat there's a tie, then you do another big heat. So yeah, I thought that had actually happened, because at some point Thunder gets on top, stays there, Minshang passes and then goes back, and then Thunder was on top. So I was like, that seems like it's gonna stick. But then it was up to you, Singu, to make sure that you got better than the 4th position there. And that's the one that we were all kind of watching close by. And you, like you say, you hit it just at the right time as well. Because for a while you were just behind him.
Yeah.
And then that final kind of amazing. That was really some amazing racing. Honestly, you guys made my night. How did it feel?
It will be really fun to the public to see our shouts. We were screaming really hard.
we could not believe it.
Yeah.
We simply could not believe it.
But I mean, you worked hard to get there, so
Hmm.
deserve it as well, I guess. After the unfortunate luck that Raiden has had over the years, I think there's a mix of very smart recruiting of pilots, and I think you all also work very hard and to get where you are. So, congratulations to you guys for that. I look forward to seeing Supersonic X continuing this season as well, because I don't think you guys have given up yet. You have
No,
an
not a
incredibly
chance.
talented team as well. And I love this season because I feel like it's a lot better matched than last season, where there were
Definitely.
kind of, let's be honest, X-Blades was clearly dominating, and every now and then Quad Force 1 and Apex would kind of be able to come up. But yeah, it was those three teams mainly. And the two of you were actually on each other's throats the whole season. You would always fly in the quarterfinals against each other, which was really sad because you were so evenly matched. So it's really good to see a round robin where you guys can fly more often and to see both of you kind of evolve into ridiculously talented teams because, like I said, we're always fans of good flying.
With the point system, I think all teams are much closer.
Yeah.
Last season, we didn't match with X-Blades, and with the round robin, we know now the speed we need.
And something you were saying, Singu, about when you're flying 4 laps, that you have to kind of race more carefully rather than being able to go. Does that change lap by lap? Do you try keep like a constant in all 4, or do you do like first 3 kind of chill, but then the 4th one you're like, you know what, I have to send this now?
Yeah, since you kind of become more warmed up, I always try to not start too fast, and then as I am flying the track, push a little bit more. And that's what I usually do, but there is other people like Vicent who just sends it since the beginning. But I think I can do that. So yeah, especially in 4 laps. But yeah, I usually go from minus to more on 4 laps. Yeah.
Thunder, do you?
I felt more confident on the final.
Okay.
On the first race with SDT, I don't know what happened. Nerves, just not being warm up or whatever.
Yeah, I'm always more nervous on the first race of the competition. I don't know why. Also to me, yeah.
I mean, I guess you're still like, yeah, you've had time to practice on the track, but there's a difference between practicing and actually racing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I feel like the hardest would be if your first race is against like, well, I mean, for you guys, obviously not against you guys, but against one of your 2 teams or X-Blades. Imagine like your first race of the day is that. I feel like you'd be depressed at the end. That doesn't start off well. But yeah, who was your first race again, AJ?
Sorry, can you repeat that? Sorry.
At Reutte, what was the first team that Supersonic X raced against?
X-Blades?
Oh, was it
I think it
actually
was X-Blades, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
what a
just
start.
to open
They beat
to open a
X-Blades?
parentheses, when I started practicing DCL before being in Supersonic, I was actually in the top props team,
Yeah.
the wild card, and I was against X-Blades.
You
I
got
was
knocked
like,
out by
okay.
them at. Oh, no, it was Prop Town. Yeah, it was Prop Town last year, wasn't it?
I think so. I think was it? Oh yeah, it was Prop Time where my first DCL race as a wild card. But then I had to versus X-Blades, and then I remember when I raced with Supersonic X last season, and I did have to race against X-Blades, and then this first race I had this season, I have to race against X-Blades. Like, okay, I'm never gonna get a break. I see.
They're following you everywhere. But do you feel like the more you race against them, because their pilot roster hasn't actually changed a substantial amount from last year, so
Right.
you're generally going to be racing the same pilots, and do you feel like you see yourself getting better as like the more that you race against them, you see kind of changes in the way you're.
I do see me getting better, and at the same time, I'm slightly more relaxed since now we got a better team than last season. So last season, I was basically trying to be as side as I can with Minjae, and obviously Minjae is at one level, and I'm still trying to learn as trying to fly like him. So it's kind of hard for me to like keep up with him and keep up with everybody like in the 1-2. But now that we got better pilots, I can like take down the 3 and 4 and try my best in the 3 and 4, and that actually like mentally calms me down a little bit because
Okay.
I got other pilots that can help me if anything bad happens.
And do you feel like there's a good kind of team spirit at Supersonic X if you guys do help each
yeah.
other out?
Definitely, yes.
So how the studio that Andreas and Jordi were in, did that? Do you feel like that's something you would have also wanted to be at?
Yes, that would have been great. Actually, that was there were 3 pilots there. There was Jordy, there was and then there was Star 23467 from China Dragons, and then just see them all like racing against each other like in the same room. I really want that, but it's kind of hard for me to travel to the Netherlands right now.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like that's. But is there? I mean, yeah, Puerto Rico's a bit more complex to get onto mainland US, but it's like, do you see the US pilots kind of looking at doing something similar, or is it more because these guys all live like 2 hours from each other that it was doable?
I don't exactly know. I know Quad 451 did it at the first race for sure. 2 of their pilots were actually in the same house.
Cal and
CLS, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
Aaron.
Silas, yeah, we're in the same. It's nice because we obviously, miss real life events where everyone can be together. And it's been nice to see that some pilots have found ways to be able to race together. It's the beauty of this community, though, isn't it? Like the support.
That's so much fun, honestly.
And you guys...
After the Reutte win, Mark went to my house for celebrating.
Did you actually?
Beautiful. Yeah.
I was actually about to ask, do you guys ever see each other in real life?
We have been together sometimes, but not for celebrating such a win.
So it was like big fiesta kind of situation.
Yeah.
Fiesta.
Cool.
Yeah, to enjoy the summer, basically.
I mean, to be fair, you both live in places where summer is a relatively nice thing.
Yeah,
it's a little bit too hot, I feel
like,
but
I'm
it's
sweating.
Okay.
Over here is summer almost like 12 months of the year.
Yeah, is Puerto Rico like close? You guys are close to the equator, right?
I believe so, yes.
Can we swap?
And
I want summer all year long. That's my thing.
I mean, just for you to know, I've never actually even seen snow in my life. I'm pretty sure. Just kind of
Do you
like.
know what? I hadn't either until I was 16 because I grew up in different parts of Africa, where it was hot all the time. And then I moved to Europe when I was 16, and then I saw snow, like snowing, and everyone was just like, "Why are you so excited?" I'm like, "I've never seen this physically happen. I've only ever seen this in movies. It's so exciting."
Right.
That remembers to me my first time. Do you know who invited me to see the snow? Mark. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Super exciting.
I showed him snow.
But I mean, Barcelona doesn't have. Or did you go a bit further
no.
north?
Yeah, we went towards the Pyrenees to the mountains. Yeah.
Oh, you're not far from me.
Huh?
Can you? Yeah, you can. Can you ski on the Spanish side of the Pyrenees, or is it only on the French side?
No, you can ski also in the Spanish side. Yeah.
That's pretty nice. I'm guessing skiing isn't a thing in Puerto Rico.
No, not even close.
Can you do sandboarding? Do you have like sand dunes or something where you can at least sandboard?
Not really either. No.
Fair enough.
Just skateboarding and surfing.
That doesn't sound terrible, to be fair.
No, it sounds great, but it's definitely like I would say they're relative to snowboarding and maybe like sand dune and stuff. Well, surfing, I guess. Pretty good waves here.
Fair enough. So what is your, to go back to drones, because that is what we are here for.
Yeah.
I mean, you've kind of answered this already, I guess, AJ, but kind of what would you say was your favorite part and least favorite part of the Reutte race?
The favorite part and least favorite part from the last race?
Yeah.
Well, definitely the first track. That's a no for me. The what's it called? No, not Night Watch. Oh wait, it was first track on the practice. Sorry, it's a Sledge.
Oh, see, the one with the epic ladder.
Yeah, that's
thing.
a no for me. No, not happening for me. I mean,
Yeah.
Night Watch was insane. Slingshot feels amazing, but then that one is like, I'm gonna practice the least on that Siege track. Just go to the other ones, honestly.
I mean, you were quite lucky because the Twitch chat ended up agreeing with you because, you know, we asked the Twitch chat to vote for what their favorite was. And I really thought they were going to go for Siege because it was so problematic, but they like you guys.
I love them.
So they...
I love the Twitch chat. They're amazing.
They are.
My best friends.
Hear that, Twitch chat? You are appreciated.
Spam, Raiden stickers, chat.
Viz said, I think your camera has, like, stopped at this point in time.
My camera?
I mean, it's a nice...
I see him.
Yeah, I see him, but, like, he doesn't move. Or is that just me?
I see him moving.
Oh. On my side, he's
Well,
just...
a little laggy, but I see him moving.
I just
Hello?
see a wax museum type statue.
I can try to be on the call again.
Maybe, yeah, maybe
Oh,
restart.
you can just turn on and turn off your camera normally. Nate is saying he's too fast for the Twitch chat. For the camera.
Now? You see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good now.
Again.
Okay. Done.
And yeah, so for you two, Raiden pilots, what would you say? I mean, I'm assuming the best moment was winning, but maybe your least favorite moment and at the Reutte race.
My least favorite was the free practice 2. We were practicing the tracks for 90 minutes, and I was first at 1. And MCK, as always, in the last 30 seconds, he beat me. It was really annoying.
Do you feel like he waits until the last second to then turn on, or just to
I don't know.
spite you?
It feels like.
I do feel like he does that too. I don't know.
I hope he does not, but...
No, he's an amazing pilot, but I can understand. Do you guys ever get frustrated by, trying really hard and he just makes it look so effortless as well?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in my case, yeah. If I think too much about it, I kind of get pissed. But hey, he's a guy that practices almost every day in front of, in his field, and gives DCL plenty of hours. So
yeah, it's the hard work that pays off, I guess. And how about you, Singu? What would you say was your least favorite moment from the Reutte race?
Well, maybe simply in more or less the middle of the race, I don't know what happened to me. I started crashing a lot and not feeling very well. But then in the finals, likely, I think I fixed myself, I think, and I managed to help a little more my team. But yeah, I don't know. I think simply not feeling good in some part of the race was...
And
yeah.
do you feel like you kind of got out there? I mean, obviously you got out that slump on your own, but was the team kind of there for you as well in that moment to kind of push you back up and hype you and everything?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the team was very supportive, like in all moments. Yeah. I feel really good with my teammates in Raiden. All of them are very, I don't know, very fun people and very supportive all the time. So yeah, it helped a lot.
Our win is not just for the pilots; it's also for the owner, for the people that help us. It's really important to say that to the chat. They understand the support we have, the work everyone is making for trying this season to be more close.
I think you can. I mean, I can see it from kind of a DCL perspective, working with the Raiden team on things that, yeah, you guys do have a really great supportive team, and it's cool. It's really nice to see. And do you feel like you're kind of on a personal level that, you know, your friends and family, what do they think of you racing around on Sunday for 8 hours? Actually, you guys stay longer as well, don't you? Because you have to be there before and everything.
Yeah, well, usually I close the door and I'm like completely focused. But yeah, I don't know. They always try to help me on everything they can, and they watch the live stream and and then they want to talk with me about everything that happened. And I'm very tired, but yeah.
And you, AJ?
My
Oh, sorry, Thunder, go.
my parents are always on the Saxo Gaming stream, the Spanish one.
Oh, so yeah, so they watched it in Spanish. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and after every match, I open the door, I shout, I talk to them, and we continue.
That's lovely. And AJ?
I think I do basically the same thing. At least in this last race scenario where I need to wake up like at 6 in the morning, it wasn't really helping me. But just wake up, get out of bed, walk for a bit, and then just sit down and not leave the chair until I'm warmed up.
So during a race, obviously there are periods where you're not racing. Do you use that time to kind of get up, stretch your legs, eat something, or are you just so focused on it that you kind of forget that you have any other basic needs?
Well, in my case, I had like a little box of cookies. In my case, I just grab a cookie every time I'm not racing. And depending on how I was feeling, I might have even during the wait just logging into the normal maps and start practicing something real
Okay.
quick before we go. Because sometimes I feel like I need to fix something in particular. So I, instead of like having a break, well, I'm not really having a break. I race and go back to a normal map and then go back to racing. That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, actually, last race, since we started a little bit sooner, I actually forgot to eat, to have a lunch. So yeah, it was like 7 p.m. And then I started to feel like super hungry, and I thought, wait a minute, I didn't eat anything. I only ate breakfast during the entire day, and it was 7 p.m. So yeah, I got to eat for the finals, and actually maybe that helped a lot because I was not having a very good day.
Yeah.
And then the finals was yeah,
Food
extremely
heals
good.
the soul.
Yep.
And you, Thunder, do you feel like do you eat a little bit or?
Yeah, my dad in the race, or is watching the stream, or is buying me some food. It's funny. The fridge is always full with most of fruit juices. I love juices.
What's your favorite?
Naranja. It's orange and something more.
It's nice. Citrus.
Citrus, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes you guys feel any better, the DCL team is roughly the same, the ESL team as well. We don't eat during a race day. Unless, like, you're lucky enough to have a friend or family or something who's there and brings you food and puts it in your mouth, you don't have time to actually eat.
Oh,
I think it's probably worse because I'm home at least when I do it, but the parts of the DCL team that are in the studio, so you know, there's the ESL studio that takes all the feeds and puts them together so that you guys get, obviously, you know, that nice presentation of the whole thing. Yeah, they don't have a break like that. Those 5 minutes are not enough to breathe. So it's quite chaotic. And I always wondered how you guys handle it because I know Matt as well. I feel bad because he has to talk the whole time. Like that's almost worse.
that's very impressive, honestly.
That's true, actually. I didn't thought about that.
Can you
He's
think
a
of
robot.
It's real MVP, man? Talking
Like
for
8
8 hours
hours straight talking.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's horrible.
Oh, wow.
Because Martijn at least only comments, you know, at the end to do the analysis. Like Matt has to say what you guys are doing while you're racing. And it's not just like talk, it's he has to say it with so much enthusiasm.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing, honestly.
Oh, we
Very
have
good.
Yeah,
Twitch spam. You guys were famous enough to be spammed.
And actually, he on a race, I think that sometimes it's a little bit difficult to know what's going on, and
Yeah.
I think that he's always very very good at knowing what's happening.
Matt has a few screens on basically, and all of them have different pieces of information. So he'll have like the stats and stuff so that he knows, you know, things like the fast laps, what the current points are, what the pilots are that are making the most, the best duos, whatever. And then at the same time, he'll have like basically just everything will be on at the same time on all his screens, which I think is very impressive because already one screen is a lot for me.
It's crazy. He knows more than us what the race is.
I love when he has to like look to the right when he's interviewing someone. He just turns his head like this. It's like it's really funny.
I think last year as well, I don't know if you remember, but there was like the what you call it, Buna. I can't speak any language properly these days. Wait, what just happened? Why can I not see cameras anymore? Okay, now you're back. Sorry.
We're back.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it was him and Martijn who were in this kind of table thingy, and they had to pretend, you know, like, because that's the thing. Everyone is at home with a normal setup and has to position themselves. They can't see the screen. Like they're told, okay, you have to pretend that you're looking and whatever. And I don't know. I always find the work that ESL does, so the production company, is really impressive. And yeah, they also deserve a shout out for everything they do. I mean, on top of you guys are obviously making the show an absolute phenomenon to watch, but I think it's important to acknowledge everyone involved in making DCL so wonderful. So what?
Damn, that was so kind.
You made Vincent cry and everything. Look, he's crying.
I mean, Vincent did it just now as well. He's right, you know. Like we see, you know, you only see in events as a kind of general thing. You see certain faces, you know, you see commentators, you see players or pilots, or, you know, I'm thinking like sports in general. But there's a whole team in the background making all of it possible. And those people don't get shout outs often enough because, like, without them, nothing would happen. I think we also
Right.
underestimate. If the pandemic's taught us anything, it's that essential workers do not get enough credit for the essential work they do.
Yeah, true.
Not true. 100%.
But yeah, so shout out to anyone who's an essential worker during the pandemic. Y'all are awesome. Anyway, about the season. What are your thoughts on the season so far? And what kind of are your thoughts on how you think it's gonna go from here? I think AJ, maybe you can start.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, this has only been my second season. Although my first season wasn't really my first season. I came in like mid-season.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to explain. So it's like I feel like this is my proper first season, and I think the format is pretty good because there's more racing, and you're not with the stress of for example, if I'm against X Blades on the first round in quarterfinals, it's gonna be like, well, looks like we're not gonna make, like, realistically speaking, right? But
Yeah.
with this format, you can race everybody and you grab points, and I think it's pretty beneficial for every team. Pretty good.
That's cool. And so you kind of, obviously I'm guessing you guys are still aiming for the top spot.
Oh yeah,
There's
of
still
course.
5 races left. I never know how many we have. So it's still very much for the taking, I guess, if you can dethrone these two on the bottom here. And what about you two? How are you kind
Yeah,
of feeling the season so far, and how are you feeling about the rest of the season?
yeah, it's looking to be a much closer season and very competitive and stressful. But yeah, now we have, I think, last season was like yeah, an X-Blades monopoly almost, and actually I'm a little bit like AJ because I only raced the last race of last year. So yeah, it's looking like that this year will be more like my first proper season. And yeah, it's looking super competitive, and every race is really important. And yeah, and I think that it's a lot more entertaining for the viewers, like during these very close races, and you never know what's going to happen. Like I really didn't thought we were going to win last race on the finals, and we did. So yeah.
X Blades is really angry, and we have to be careful with MC Crash winning so much. Everything can happen next race.
Do you prefer that it's a tight season where you actually have to fight for a spot, or would you have preferred that it's just kind of easy? And I mean this one for AJ as well. Do you think it's more like from your personal perspective, not for the fans, because obviously the fans prefer that it's a tight season, it's more fun, but for you guys, do you prefer that it's kind of tight and you really have to fight, or would you have preferred to just like chill through it and just win everything without too much effort?
I think it's more fun to keep it close, honestly, and it keeps it more competitive. It's also, I mean, it's, at least for me, it feels good to know that I need to do a lot of effort to, like, for example, like sacrifices, maybe taking this turn really tight so I can beat this guy, you know? So it kind of takes the fun away when you're like the fastest and you're not doing much effort, in my personal opinion.
And you I had a follow-up question to that, but I forgot what it was. Do you feel like it makes you a better pilot to have people that are always
Oh,
on your
definitely.
tail?
Definitely, yeah. On my tail, and even people that are faster than me. I
Yeah.
try to push to be like them. Definitely helps you as a pilot. Pretty sure it helps you in every sport.
As the line say, diamonds are made under pressure.
Right.
Thunder coming out with the strong quotes there. Singu, how about you? Do you feel like it's good to have a season that's really tight, or would you like to be a little bit less stressed?
Well, yeah, it's a lot more stressful, but it's also a lot more exciting, and it's also a lot more entertaining also for us. So yeah, I mean, a very competitive and tight season is a lot better, I think.
Yeah, I think for the viewers, we can definitely agree that we prefer when we don't really know what's going to happen yet and it can go any way because suspense is always fun.
Even the pilots, we all enjoy tight racing.
That's cool. Who would you say is, within your team, the pilot that you prefer racing the most? So you get paired up for each race. Which pilot do you feel like you fly the best with, or that you feel the most compatible with? I don't know how you want to call it exactly, but who do you like being paired up with the most? AJ, maybe you can start.
In my case, man, I don't really have a preference, honestly. I do get paired up a lot, or I used to get paired up a lot with Minjae, and kind of only quote unquote bad thing about it is that I could never race without seeing him in front of me, which is kind of like, even if I'm getting second, he'll still be in front of me, so it's kind of like, well, I gotta try not to focus on that quad and make sure I get second. But I really do not have a preference. Last race I was racing a lot with Andreas, and I went pretty good.
That's cool. And Raiden? You don't have to say each other. I'm sure you won't get offended by each other.
It's hard because we discussed this a lot for after the internal Raiden selection. Who is gonna pair with who? Mark wanted to pair with me, but we finally decided to pair David and Mark and Gabriel and me, and it went really good. And I think we'll follow these pairings.
Do you change?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go.
Well, now, yeah, now I'm actually, I don't have any preference. Although I would like to be on the first pairing because weights kill me. I really don't like waiting.
Okay.
Like after you warm up and practice the track, the first group get to fly the track sooner.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like I really get cold very fast, and yeah, I simply think that I would do better, like comparatively, if I'm on the first group. But now I'm actually fine with I could with any pairing.
PSA to
Just
you,
a fun,
Kotera.
just a fun fact.
Yeah.
I think it might be my only heat win, but the reason it's only my heat win is because I'm always racing against Andres and Minchain. They always get first in some scenarios, so I don't really get first. But I actually got my first heat win against Marc Espuña and David Moding. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Is it because they went second?
What?
Do you prefer being then? Like to follow up on what Max said, do you prefer being first or second in the order of pairings? I mean,
I prefer being second, honestly.
Okay.
At least in this case, right? I do feel like I have more potential in the last pairing than in the first pairing.
And how about you, Thunder?
I want to race against Mincha and Minjai, even Silas. If they are on first seat, I want to be on first seat.
You don't care the order as long as it's with the best pilots, basically.
I wanna win the best pilots, or I wanna lose the best pilots. But if I won't race with them, I will probably be sad because I don't show what I can do. And this is a thing I want to show to everyone.
I mean, I feel like you pretty regularly show what you can do, but sure. I feel like we should do a kind of all-star race at the end of the season where we just take, we find all the pilots who had the most amount of heat points and just race them against each other.
That would be insane.
That would be cool.
And then that one would win Pilot of the Year. Because last year we gave Pilot of the Year to the pilot who scored the most heat points, which is MCK. Unfortunately, by a bit. Although, to be fair, last year the heat points system was different. I mean, this year I think you can finish second, or third consistently and still. Anyway. But I think it actually could be fun. I'm not sure how doable this is, and so I'm sorry if I get the DCL team in trouble for saying that we should do this. But it would be really fun if we could take like the top 4 pilots, I guess, and just do a few like big heats of all of you racing together to determine who wins Pilot of the Year.
One of my goals this year is trying to be that Pilot of the Year. I'm trying super hard, but sometimes it's not possible.
I don't have your stats, but I think you're not far off, honestly. It's Minjay, I think, who's actually probably in the lead.
Yeah,
At Reutte, he won until the very end. He had won every single heat he'd raced.
just crack.
My boy.
Yeah. I mean,
I love him so much. He's super kind. After every matchup, he always writes me by messenger.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, just or congratulations or next time or wherever. Amazing guy.
Manjay is amazing.
It's for me. It's also a thing of like sometimes I forget how young he is as well. To have like firstly that much talent, but it's not just a talent thing. It's also like the personality when you're a child is not necessarily you don't always have like. I mean, you're a child, but he really comes off as like so like you say he's such a kind soul who's just like a really good team player and appreciates the sport as a whole and can appreciate talent in other pilots, and except when he's quippy in documentaries that we make, it's very funny. Sometimes he gives like these really nice burns that just make me laugh. But to be fair, Thunder, I saw an interview with you as well. You just make me laugh so much because you guys are so brutally honest. It's refreshing.
We try. That's what our parents teach us, I think.
Is it a Spanish thing or?
No, I think it's just because my parents are amazing, and I think they are on the stream. So hello.
Hi, Thunder's parents. I told my mom to watch the stream as well. I don't think she is watching. My parents are busy. They're at the beach in Barcelona.
Enjoying.
That's where my family is. And so, yeah, I guess who would you say is the pilot that kind of, I mean, we've put some names out, so I guess it will probably be one of them, but a pilot you'd say within the DCL sphere that you'd kind of look up to quite a bit, and someone who you see, I mean, maybe not idol, but really the person that you're striving to work towards being as a pilot. Hi, Hyper, by the way. Sorry, Twitch chat.
I mean, in my case, I do like even outside DCL, and I know he's not racing for DCL right now, but the guys like Evan Turner and Alex Campbell, I always loved their energy, and they were like definitely fast and always had that energy, always pumped out. I think that's something I'm really striving for, like having that energy and like being or trying to be as fast as they were in their DCL season.
Yeah, they were characters as well, aren't they? Like
Yes.
people who mean business. How about you, Singu?
Well, obviously, Vicent himself or Minchan as well, all the usual top pilots. Yeah, I really look up to them because they we expect them to do really good, but it's a lot of times it's really, really difficult, and it might be easy to maybe have a bad day, but they always deliver. So yeah, it's very impressive, and I look up to them for that.
And you, Thunder, are you just like the biggest fan of yourself, basically, or how does
No,
that work?
no. I love Minjai so much. Ninja team, because in most of the races, when you win, okay, you're happy. But when you lose, you have to accept it and think about what happened. And Ninja always think about what happened, being happy. And I really like his personality and how he assumes the losses and the wins.
I guess your character is tested the most when you lose. Isn't there a saying of some sort about something like that? That it's easy to be a good person when everything's going your way, but life tests you the most when things aren't working out, actually. Cool. And in terms of like rival team, I guess, who, X-Blades being the obvious one, but let's remove X-Blades from the equation. Who would you say is the team that you're kind of really watching your back, because you see that they've obviously
These guys.
So Supersonic X and Raiden kind of are you guys each other's biggest rivals, would you say?
I think
I
history
probably
rivals.
Yeah, I mean, last season we're definitely like rivals.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we went racing thinking about Raiden in our case.
Yeah,
Yes.
but this season also Quad Force as well. So yeah, Super Sonic
Right.
and Quad Force are right there.
I think there's a very interesting title battle happening this season, and I'm very excited to see how it plays out. Obviously, best of luck to both your teams, but at the end of the day, anyone can win. And to go back to the very, very beginning, how did you find out about DCL, and how did you end up being recruited? I think AJ, your story, I definitely know that you. Well, how did you find out about DCL, the game, first?
I actually tried out for 2019, but by that time I did not have a good computer, and I was just trying to compare myself a little bit, but there wasn't really anything that I was like trying to do like fully, right? It was just trying to test me. But I always knew about DCL, and then I learned, I noticed late about 2020 tryouts, so I did not do 2020 tryouts, or maybe I did do it, but not as good as I would have done it if I had the whole week. I think I did like 3 days maybe. But I had the chance to be on a team with Hot Props, and then we got to Recent Heat, and then I was immediately like looked by HA and the crew, and they're like, "Hey, we want that pilot in our team." And I said yes, and that's how basically it started for me.
That's really cool. I think this is one thing that was really good about wildcard teams is it was, for those who weren't watching last year, we had 7 kind of regular teams, and we'd invite an 8th team of pilots who qualified in a different way. So in your case, I think it was the whole team that qualified through tryouts within DCL the game. So it was Team Hot Props who ended up winning, and then have the chance to display their skills against the pros. Unfortunately, because of the format of last year, the wildcard teams always ended up flying against X-Blades in the quarterfinals, and well, it's X-Blades, so it didn't last very long, unfortunately for all of you. But I think Team Hot Props, if I remember correctly, was the one who managed to score the most points against X-Blades of all of the wildcard teams of the season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Max and Nitra who actually scored points on X-Blades. That was pretty exciting.
But you got recruited in the end, and they actually got recruited by China Dragons this year, so everyone worked out for everyone, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
And how about you, Thunder? How did you end up at Raiden?
I saw DCL, real life events, and the organization, the fans, the tide
Which one?
racing. 2019 and 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, that racing was just my dream. I was competing national, but I really want to jump onto a job or kinda, and I started winning DCL because I was following Drone Champions League and all the media stuff, and then a beta start on Steam. I started winning, but on the first draft I didn't qualify, but I tried. I think Single was qualifying from that first draft, but then next year I tried harder and I started speaking with Yucatera, who is the owner and magnificent person. We love him.
You joined in 2020, right?
Yeah.
I remember we kept getting your name wrong. Because we're all used to writing Vicent with an N, like Vincent.
But I like Vincent.
Oh, okay.
It's not the way it's called, but I like it.
Oh no, it's cool. It's just that because of, like we're so used to writing it in autocorrect and stuff, it kept putting an N there. And then we kept having to struggle, like during the live event, like, oh my god, there's an N, we have to change it. And so, Singo, you qualified in 2019 then?
Yeah.
Was it for Raiden as well, or did you?
No, I went to Apex.
Yeah, I thought you were
chose
in
me.
Apex.
Yeah, so I actually found out about the tryouts by a video of FPR Dan, who ended up getting first on that tryouts. So yeah, I find out about the tryouts thanks to him, and yeah, he ended up doing third, and then Apex recruited me, and now Raiden.
How did you make the switch from Apex to Raiden?
Well, since Apex this year they are not racing, only for this race. They said they allowed me to just change to a different team to be able to race this year if I wanted to.
I think
so
that's. Yeah. I saw that about Andreas and Jordi at Supersonic X, but I don't know why, but I only found out like a few days before the race that you were, no, not before the race, but at some point, like way down the line, that you had actually switched from Apex to Raiden. I was like, oh, cool. We get to see more of Singer then, that's good. Was anyone else at Apex joined another team, or? I think you three are the only ones, no?
Yeah, I think only we three, yeah.
Because Eric is doing other projects in wherever.
Yeah. Eric is, I don't know, maybe having a little bit of a break.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's been around for a while, hasn't he, as well? Sometimes a break is good.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like you'll ever get tired of doing drone racing, or do you just see this like, nah, long term I want to continue, maybe not pro, but always do it?
It's a hard question.
Continue. Yeah, it's hard.
That's not an easy question. I think on competitively, yes. Like I won't be. I don't think I won't be around like forever. But I don't know. I won't like sell my quads or like, and I will always have installed the simulator. So I think like when I have time, it's very good to have a hobby. And I don't know, I love when I go out and fly drones with my friends. So I don't see it changing this, at least.
I really wish drone racing makes it like to the Olympics or something like that. That would be
how
great.
cool would that be? I mean, they got skateboarding in there. They have horses in there. Like, they can put drones.
Yeah. I would be happy even the Summer Olympics.
Yeah, I think the Winter Olympics would be risky to put drone racing in there.
Yeah, unless it's indoors, but still.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, but I mean, the whole point of the Winter Olympics is to be outside, isn't it? Aside from figure skating and stuff like that.
True.
Well, DCL does some magic a lot of times in events.
That is true.
Like-
We do pull amazing things. I haven't
Mm.
been at a real life event actually because I joined last year in February, so I was not able to be part of a live event. So I really look forward to seeing how that looks, because when you see the locations that we were at, I always wonder, like, how do they get someone to agree to drones going at like over 100 kilometers per hour in a place where people are? Like, that's
Well, they put nets everywhere. So in the end, we felt very safe actually. But yeah.
to be fair.
And
Yeah,
actually,
Nate,
I went to Rome. I think I went to only one real race,
okay, which one?
DCL real race, and I think I went to the most impressive one, in my opinion. Like the in Romania, that salt mine.
Yeah,
Like
forgetting
that
the
was
name.
like. It felt like I was in a film or something. Yeah.
It's very impressive. I've seen videos and pictures, and it's one of those that we'd love to have the environment in the DCL the game actually, because it's such a cool location, but there's a rights story and whatever, but
Mm.
it's really impressive. And so, I mean, question to all of you then, of all of the real life locations that we've done thus far, and if you think of the locations that we kind of have, even though they're virtual at the moment, which is the one that you'd like to race the most in real life?
The next one,
Uh,
China,
China would be
for
cool.
sure.
Yeah.
The Great Wall.
Well, Reutte, actually, the one we just did, Reutte
Yeah.
would be really nice, I think.
In the
I
castle?
honestly don't have a preference, honestly. Like any location that takes me out of my house, that's pretty much it.
I think right now, at the point that everyone is at with this pandemic, we're literally all just like, just leaving my house would be nice.
Yeah, would be nice.
Maybe
Even though it's
maybe
like 2 hours out.
oil bando, maybe not.
I mean,
don't
it
know.
doesn't exist in real life, but similar
Yeah.
to.
You guys can come to Formentera for a race event if you want.
Oh.
We can create it. It will cost a lot of money, but they're pretty cool locations to be fair. But yeah, Reutte we haven't raced at since the beginning though. Like 2016 was the very first DCL race. I don't know if you guys know this.
Yep.
But yeah, it was like the opening of DCL, and back then it was a whole different format as well. It was solo pilots. There weren't any teams.
I didn't know.
But it changed. It changed quite quickly how the format of all of it went. DCL evolved a lot over the past years, but it's been cool to watch it. Although Nate was making a valid point about we did technically do the Winter Olympics because we raced at Lax, the
Oh,
in
that's
the Alps, Swiss Alps, I think. So exactly, we could technically do the Winter Olympics. You are actually correct, Vicent. My bad. In the Twitch chat, if you guys want to put what your favorite location is, feel free to vote for your favorite location. Nate says China 100%, but
Yeah,
everyone
last
can-
season China tracks were amazing, and I'm sure these China tracks will be insane too.
with all the virtual races thus far, so if you think kind of from the very first race last year was in Vaduz to now Reutte, what has been your favorite environment to race in from a point of view of the environment, but also the tracks?
I don't know. I'm kind of a lost case here because I don't really have a preference. I'm like, oh, it's fine as long as I don't get like tight ladders like in I am
No more
good to go.
siege.
No more siege, please. Anything but siege.
Sometimes I wonder if Filippo doesn't take secret pleasure in just watching all of you suffer.
I bet he does a little. At least a little.
Oh, yes, fun. But I've seen this before though. I think it was last year at a final one. I think it was like Zurich or it was China, where all the pilots complained when the tracks first came out, and then
Oh, Switzerland.
Yeah, then it was like Zurich. But then on the race day, they actually enjoyed it so much. So it's hard at first, but then once you're racing on it, maybe not you, Thunder, okay, but that is the feedback we got.
No. I also fight with the track. It's not easy when you have to fight the track and not fight the pilots. But I think with Siege, maybe not, but with Slingshot on the first track, we really all enjoyed, I think.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed like almost all of the tracks of all the DCL races. Maybe there are some exceptions, like some particular tracks.
Go, which ones?
Like the third one, the one that AJ was talking about, that I died on that track. But the other ones I've done, I've liked them a lot actually. But yeah, that track, yeah, was really hard for me.
Fair enough.
And last season it was ping pong.
Yeah.
Which one was that again? That was one of the China ones, but what was the challenge of it?
Going inverted, I think. That was a challenge.
Was it? Oh yeah, you had to like keep a slow roll into a gate to then do like a double corkscrews.
That sounds mean.
Yeah, that sounds. I mean, it was kind of horrible. And the gates used to be like, I remember in qualifying, the first gates, like the ping pong gates, where you used to go like this or something, they were actually smaller, so it
And
was
they
even
made them
harder to
bigger
get in.
though, right?
Yeah, they made it bigger, but that qualifying was like, oh, how do I supposed to enter this gate right here? Very hard.
And you, Singo, is there another track that you remember that you kind of particularly hated?
Well, I don't really hate any track. Simply, there are the ones that are more challenging for me. And I remember on Switzerland, the very last one, I think that there was like an upside down power loop
Yeah.
in a kind of a box. And yeah, I was like, I'm gonna hit that. I know I'm gonna go there and hit that thing, and I didn't know what to do to not to pass well through there, because you can't really go slow and do. I'm gonna go there and do it super slow. No, it didn't work.
And what would you say is like your favorite obstacle to do? One that, you know, when you see it in a track, you're like, yes, I'm gonna absolutely ace. And then on the flip side, what would you say the obstacle is that makes you like that worries you the most when you see it? You're like, no.
Easiest one is a straight line.
But you actually enjoy flying straight lines, though. Do you not find it more fun to?
Depends. Not a literal straight line, but maybe gates that are not too tight, and then just makes the race more like momentum flying and closer, because you're not fighting with the track, you're fighting with the pilots.
Fair enough.
It makes sometimes a little bit fun. But in my case, the worst. Well, I'm trying to practice them. I'm being better at them, but I do not like ladders. Like, do not give me a ladder, please. And even like if it's like four tall or 4 gates tall, please don't do that to me. Like, that's
So
cruel to me. I don't
definitely
like
not
ladders.
Siege.
No, yeah, I think the whole point of Siege was that. I love the other sections of Siege. I love the start. I love the other, like the dive gate. As soon as I saw that freaking thing like this, I'm like, nah.
Stuff of nightmares.
Yeah. Like half of the track, but the other half, that thing, no. I pass. Strong pass.
Do one of you wanna? Thunder, do you wanna go?
Yeah, I kind of like the risky finish lines as a real race in Badut, where people were on top of himself and they were diving to a crash gate. That was really spectacular. And I think it makes fans and everything more random. So everything can happen in the last moment if there is a risky line to the end.
Fair enough. And what's something that you find like intimidating, and when you say it, you're like, nope.
Oh, probably corkscrews. I'm fine with really low rates, and I can do corkscrews pretty fast. I tried really hard in the training, but my hands can make it faster.
And you, Mark, what are your kind of favorites and least favorites?
Favorites? It's kinda random, actually. Some tracks they have some random like momentum things that somehow I'm good at sometimes, but I don't know. Like, I don't think I have like that obstacle that it's best for me. Yeah, I would say some obstacles that make you carry well the momentum in some way, but yeah. But the ones I'm not that good at, I definitely know, and I think it would be cranes, like the rings, for example, that upside down almost crane, and some people did that upside down, like Minjae, which is super impressive to see that. And yeah, those things, I don't know, I struggle a lot. Some things, some like freestyle things, I would say, I don't find it easy.
Okay. And just to open to the Twitch chat, if you guys have any questions, obviously feel free to ask. Some of the questions I ask are actually questions that you guys have asked in previous things, so keep them coming with the cool questions. But what would you say is your kind of most memorable moment in terms of crashing? Like, is there a crash that particularly scarred you for life? Not necessarily in a bad way, but like in a funny, could be a funny story or a tragic story. Have a crash that was memorable, AJ.
I mean, even in the last race in Night Watch, I did have a crash where I literally got stuck in a gate for like 10 seconds. Like, can I get out? And no, I was just stuck. And I was throttling up and down. I wasn't coming out. I'm like, oh, this one's gonna be for history because everybody finished, and then it took me like 15 seconds later. I'm like, hold on, I'm coming. Give a break.
But do you not have a like restart button where you can reset it?
Like
Yeah,
the recover one.
Yeah.
yeah, I do, but or like in that moment specifically, did not come to my mind to like hit the button. 'Cause I thought it would slow me down, but it even slowed me down being stuck in the gate. So I think I will use it next time. I think I'll use it next time I get stuck to a gate.
We all learn, I guess.
Yeah.
We were worried about you, you know? Matt was there, like, I think AJ's like stuck in a gate, and we're like, oh dear. It's weird because even though it's all virtual, I don't know, I still somehow feel like it's happening in real life. So I do worry about like people not getting hurt, but kind of.
I was literally doing like this, like, please. Oh, you can't see my radio, but oh, actually, yeah, you can't see my radio. Never mind. But I was just throttling up and down, up and down, up and down. I was like, no, it's not.
Did you? So how did you manage to get out in the end?
I think I put 0 throttle for like 2 seconds until the quad literally just like was gay, literally just dropped like this, and then I just. That was kind of boring. A boring experience. Those 15 seconds were kind of boring. Just waiting. They're like, "Are you gonna get out?" No. Okay, I'll just wait a little bit longer. It's fine. No, no, not yet. Okay, it's fine. Don't worry. Oh, now? Okay, let's go. Okay.
Were you really that chill though when it happened?
Not really, but after the 5th second, I was like, okay, there's no way I'm gonna get third. I'm gonna get fourth. So it's whatever. It's just come on, I'll just give your time. There was one point where I knew I was gonna get third.
Do you ever actually, is this a thing that you guys get like aggressive against your transmitter or something and you like throw it against something if you're mad, or is that not really a thing that pilots do?
Not for me, but some pilots do. But
Yeah,
not for me.
Yeah, I really don't like that. No, I
fair
never
enough.
do that.
So Thunder, what was your most memorable crash experience?
It was on Proptown on the second day, the night track, rush hour. I was battling with Minjae. I think I finally had him, but then I hit the last gate. It was such an experience. I would not like to repeat crashing on the last gate, being first.
And I think it was simply a small turn.
Yeah.
Actually, just a small turn.
Yeah, those are the
turn
ones
to the
that
right
get
to
you
the
the
crash gate.
worst.
I'm bad, you know.
And you, Singo?
I actually I don't think any particular crash. Maybe in some rounds that I finished and I didn't crash, but I did like clip things and touch things that it freaks me out a lot. Like, oh my god! But I no. Then I usually or either bump into something or just completely crash.
How do you... So when that happens, what's kind of the first reflex? Is it kind of like a panic type thing? Or are you like, okay, I crashed. Fine, let me continue. I still have to kind of get through this.
No, I really freak out. The first instinct is to just put the quad exactly where it was, like to re-level the thing where it was. And in the end, you do it very fast, intuitively. But the problem is that sometimes you bump into it and the quad is not going into the direction you thought it was, and you also need to correct that. But yeah.
Fair enough. How about you, Thunder? Do you ever have moments of panic or?
I think sometimes crashes help you, but sometimes when you're stuck, it's like, okay, reset. No, I panic because I don't know how to do when I'm stuck. And it's the feeling I've experienced one or two times, but damn, it's annoying because you don't know what to do. Okay, I reset, but I'm still stuck. I try with the throttle to left, throttle to right, but sometimes the hit markers are not in the right way.
All right.
And when you fly the tracks, do you keep the... Because you can turn the line off, right? That you see kind of the... So do you prefer flying, AJ, with the line on or off?
Not really something I focus on. I usually leave it on in case I'm learning a new track, but after I know the track, I just ignore it even though it's there.
Okay, so you can, like, it doesn't distract you or anything, but you
No,
don't
not really.
use it, obviously, when you're actually racing. And
Well, I also use it, but I never focus on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I also do it as well. I use them also as well, because I think it helps. Sometimes there are some tracks that you can't, like the next obstacle is behind something, and you can't see the line, so it helps you in that regard. But if not, otherwise I would turn it off. But I have found it to help on doing blind obstacles. That on many DCL tracks, there are some obstacles that you only see right when you arrive at it. So I think it helps on that, and it doesn't bother too much.
Thunder?
No, same for me. It helps when you can see the obstacles, or it helps to the muscle memory to know what's the next obstacle. Sometimes you go full throttle, but you don't know what's next. Muscle memory says it's right, but if you follow the line, it's easier.
Kind of on a random, but on the same note, have any of you ever played DCL the game on a console, so Xbox or PS4?
No.
No.
Not even tried.
But I have heard of people doing it. No, I didn't even try.
Because I started it a few months ago, but I always thought it would
remember,
be
yeah.
interesting to get some of the pro pilots onto PS4, not for the official races, but just to kind of test it and see if you see like the difference between all the tracks and stuff. So how would you say that DCL the game kind of compares to real life racing? I mean, obviously it's not the same, that goes without saying, but would you say it kind of is relatively close, or is it just kind of something that you use to help and it's a bit different in real life?
No, I've never been, at least, I've never been to a real DCL race, so I can't tell really the difference. For me, this is amazing, and I can't really compare it to a real race. Hopefully, I will compare it in the last race, but
Yeah, I meant
not
not
really.
necessarily a DCL race, but just racing, in real life versus
Okay,
DCL
well,
the game.
and that too. Here in Puerto Rico, there's not even any chapters anymore. There used to be, but during the time, nobody has a chapter now. I don't really race in real life.
Okay.
I am traveling next week to Indiana. We're gonna be racing there.
Oh, is it that big one next weekend that is like massive in the
Yeah,
US? Yeah.
International Open,
Oh.
Cool.
and I'll
The
be there.
MotoGP one.
Yeah,
Oh, good luck.
Best of luck. Yeah.
thank you. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's gonna be. Well, I don't remember when was the last time I raced like that, but hopefully it will be fun and I'll do good.
We want to vlog.
What?
We want to vlog a video seeing everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd love for all the the different DCL pilots who are going, because I know there are quite a few DCL pilots based in the US who are gonna go, and it would be cool if you guys could do like group picture or video or something all together. I don't know, for
That'd be
us,
cool, yeah.
please.
Well, I'm definitely taking my jersey to there.
Yes, represent.
Definitely.
What just happened?
I think Vicent restarted the camera.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because I think I saw myself 5 seconds late, and
Yeah, you're
resetting the
lagging a
camera.
little bit.
Yeah,
you're
now
lagging
you're
a
lagging.
bit.
I'm sorry.
For once, it's not my internet.
No, it's just my MacBook.
Oh,
So,
you're on your Mac.
yeah.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
I found out that Macs do not like things.
Well, he lives in a remote island,
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
I'm sure that
internet
doesn't
is
help.
not really good here.
Yeah, this is why I explained to my partner when we were looking at moving. I was like, there's absolutely no way we're not living in a big city. I have standards. I need fiber optic internet, like the really, really fast one, and 5G coverage. We're not living in a village that doesn't have that.
Right.
Well, especially for streams and races and stuff, you actually genuinely need it, like from a work perspective, but also just from a private perspective. Like waiting 2 seconds for a YouTube video to load is too long. I need 2 milliseconds. It's just.
I wait like 10, but you get used to it.
I don't know. When you live in big cities your whole life, this is how I feel when I visit my mom. She's like in the middle of nowhere of Italy. I almost smashed my. I mean, I didn't almost smash my computer because I'm not a violent person, but I didn't.
You wanted to.
I said mean things to my computer that it didn't deserve, but there we were. Cool. Well, there was a a question from, I think,
Yeah.
Azish earlier for Thunder. How did you actually manage to do the ladder, sorry, on Siege? Because it was obviously a tough ladder that no one liked, but apparently you did it quite well. So how is it that you managed to do it quite well? What's the
Silent
trick?
from our team made some tracks which help us to make some hard obstacles and ladders. I think we have a track with 4 ladders, one upside down, then a right one and a left one. We practice that a lot. And it's just grinding more hours and seeing, using a little bit of yaw. It's important. Going to a throttle on top and using yaw.
Mhm.
And just practice to the right ladders, left ladders.
And then you were able to, when the thing went live, or when you saw. So was this before the track had come out or after the track had come out?
It was after, but before we also did some ladders.
Okay.
But essentially after. Yeah.
Shout out to Silent for being queen of track creation and also absolutely bossing all the tracks. She won the Women's Cup. So Raiden had a clean sweep as well. That was quite exciting because then Silent had already won the Women's Cup in the past race, and this time she had to work for it, but she won. And so you guys had to kind of also work for it, but also won. So clean sweep for Raiden, which is quite an exciting one. So you guys, I guess, do you all practice together with the pilots for the Women's Cup as well?
Yes, once a week.
Okay.
We do, and yeah, we practice all together.
In our case, where the practice we had, not really, but we did think about it for the next practice. We're like, yeah, we should definitely plan our female pilot so we can tip her and help her.
And so she's in South Korea, right, Siyun?
Yes.
And so you guys as well in Supersonic X, I think you're probably one of the most dispersed teams scattered kind of across the world. Although STT has they have a few Australians as well. Yeah, so how do you guys, well, all of you actually kind of deal with all the pilots are in different time zones, but you have to kind of communicate together and stuff. Is that like easy to manage
Usually
or?
Usually when we practice, we have this time that kind of is beneficial or almost beneficial for everybody.
Okay.
I think I'm the most, and that's not really benefit because I gotta wake up at 7 or so. But for example, it could be like 8 a.m. my time. It could be 2 p.m. for Andres and Kipi, and it could be 9 p.m. for the Korean guys. So it's kind of pretty good balance there, I would say.
And do you feel like with the races that they're obviously in different time zones each time, that you can kind of see a difference between the pilots who it's their time zone and the ones whose time zone it's not?
Man, I don't know. Sometimes because if you see Minjay, he's good all the time. So he's good at midnight. He's good in the morning. He's good at the evening. And it's pretty incredible. But at least in my case, I'm not really a morning person. I need like an hour before so I can warm up. And I don't think I could be different either. I mean, I'll see next races and it's different. See what's the difference between the races and see.
Fair enough. And how about you, Singu? How does it work with Raiden with all the time zones? And then also, do you feel like the time zones, I think for the Europeans, we're like the least I guess we have it the least hard with the time zones because we're in the middle. But you feel like there are members of your team that are on one extreme or the other who have a harder time with the whole time zone thing?
Well, definitely Gabe, like IQO, that he lives in Australia. He has basically all the night. He's literally in the other side of the world, and during the race he basically has to stay all the night awake. And when the race finishes, like the sun is rising. So I'm pretty sure that's quite hard for him, but he's doing super well. So
Yeah, he's been incredible. So
yeah. Doesn't seem to affect him much. So yeah. And for me, the only thing that happened is that I forgot to have lunch. But other than that, it was fine.
fair enough. Thunder, is there anything with time zones and stuff that you find can be difficult to manage, or for you is it fine?
I think European times are the best for DCL races. Gabriel sent me a picture having breakfast after all the night long. Yeah.
Poor Gabe.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
for him.
Mhm.
And
I-
I think Minchan said in the chat, I remember in the race, that now I'm going to school.
Yeah,
After
that
the
for
race.
me is
Oh,
insane.
no.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you know, fair enough if you're gonna like race through the night or whatever, but then yeah, going to school the next day, surely you take a sick day or something. Like, I definitely did stuff on Sunday night. I think this was when I was at university. If I went out too late on Sunday night, then I'd just not show up to class on Monday because I was just like, well, I'm tired.
Yeah.
No.
And after one of the races, I'm exhausted. So I can't imagine myself
Yeah.
going to school after that.
The just Twitch chat, you're probably not going to be able to post that link because normally we have a link blocker thing. So maybe post it on Discord or something. There's a famous DRL video, I don't know who of. But Star was saying that China Dragons seems to have the biggest space of pilots in all time zones. I think that they also have quite an eclectic group. I guess this is one cool thing of the virtual thing though, is you can really get such a global community because it's easier for people to be able to fly to watch and everything than if you have to get everyone to go to one place. And I do quite appreciate that about the virtual races. But yeah. I mean, I could talk with you guys all for hours, but you're talking about lunch, now you're making me hungry.
No, same here.
I wanted
Sorry.
pizza tonight. Um, so yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you all. Is there anything that you guys kind of want to add before leaving? Any final words? Any warning to your enemies, or thank you to your parents? Anything you want to add, AJ?
I mean, not really. I do want to say I'm gonna be better and I'm gonna impress some people next races because I'm gonna practice hard. That's all I'm saying. I'll leave you guys with that. I'm gonna
I
leave.
look forward to
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Single?
Only friendly stuff. Like, let's see next race, and I'm very excited. This season looks like it's going to be super fun and entertaining, and looking forward for the next race.
And Thunder?
And I have to thank all the fans and all the chat being here, hearing us,
Shout
and
out Twitch
also
chat.
support us on the races.
Yeah.
They are amazing. We love you so much.
That's to echo that. You know, as DCL, we wouldn't be able to do this without the community. It goes without saying. I mean, obviously the pilots, you guys are super important, and we appreciate all of you. But community as well. Thanks for being around. So I have to do the mandatory promotion of things. Bear with me. DCL the game is available on PC and Mac and PS4 and Xbox. These amazing pilots use it to practice, and it's also what we use for the races in the virtual world. So you guys can go ahead and download that and practice a lot, because then you could have your chance to be accepted by a team, which is really awesome, because that's how all of these guys came in, was through drafts. And also the next race is going to be at the Great Wall of China, one of everyone's favorite locations, on the 22nd of August. So that's on a Sunday in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, no, 3 weeks, soon. And it will start from 8 a.m. UTC on Twitch. So European time, I know that that's 10 a.m., like Central European. I'm not sure what that is. Like, what would that be for you, AJ?
Probably like 3 in the morning,
Oof,
maybe.
that sounds hard.
Close.
I apologize in advance for the rude
That is
awakening
fine.
you're gonna have.
I'm just gonna take a big nap during the day and we'll be ready.
Sounds like me. Cool. Well, thanks again to the Twitch chat for following and everything. We look forward to having you join us in the next race. And also, we should, before the race, do another episode about the quad where we have a few guest pilots, and we really look forward to doing that. We'll obviously announce it on our social media, blah, blah, blah. You get the general idea. Thank you to all three of you for joining me today. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I, as well as I think everyone here, look so much forward to the next race, to seeing all of you send it, as Thunder always says so well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Bye, guys. Bye, Twitch
See you.
chat.
See you guys.